This is the Tom Digby Tales, and I'm your host, Shannon Evans. I write about a small town in northeast Mississippi called Columbus. Sometimes I write about the rest of the state. This episode is episode 5 in the series I've been doing about the Columbus Housing Authority. And it started out with a truck that they purchased that they got scammed on, which resulted in me pulling a FOIA request on the truck and has led me on a hunt for more information. But tonight's episode is, I'm not really sure to go with this because it shows so much spending over a short period of time that has me truly concerned. So let's dig in. We're going to start with travel, and I'm going to discuss the type of travel that is done by members of the board, but we're going to focus on the executive director, and we're going to pair that travel with the monthly expenses on the credit card. I'm going to explain that the executive director and others who travel, they get money to pay for their travel and per diem, but the courses, I presume, are paid for on the credit card because you can't find those anywhere else. And so they get a check that will cover the airfare, hotel, and per diem. And then I presume they purchase the entrance for that person on the credit card. So let's dig into this. On October 13th, 2023, Grathree was given $1,219.36 to go to an event called NARO and also to a fall workshop. October 13th, 2023, travel, the credit card that month was $21.32. Then at the end, on the last day of the month, he was given a check for $2,894 and another one to go to a Morrow director's workshop for $777. And at the end of that month, which was November, the credit card bill was $6,900. Now, it gets paid automatically each month as part of their checks and balances that they do. However, no one ever compares the actual expenses to the payment for the credit card. It's just automatically paid off each month, which is quite concerning. And we'll talk about the amount of money that's spent overall in a few minutes. In December, Grathree went to the Morrow transition meeting, he received a cash advance of $666. And there was a $419 bill that month onto the credit card. That one kind of makes sense. Then on January 5th, he was given a travel advance of $392, and the credit card was $1,500 that month. Still reasonable. Then Grathree received 2 checks, both on the same day. One on February 29th for the Morrow Commissioners Conference for $1,300. And one on the same day, February 29th, for a CERC NARO committee meeting for $1,048. The next event was in March 28th of 2024, where he went to the NARO Leadership Conference in Washington. I think it's in Seattle. And he was given a check for $2,400. But that month's credit card bill was $10,000 at the end of the month. And it was just paid. On April the 30th, he was given a check for the Housing Authority 2024 conference held in North Carolina for $2,400. And then another one on May the 6th of 2024 for the Morrow Occupancy Workshop, which was $1,000. And that month's credit card bill was $7,000. He then went to the U.S. Housing Conference a couple of weeks later in Dallas, where he was given a check for $970 for his expenses. And then 2 weeks later, he was given a check for the CERC NARO Annual Conference for $1,200, and the credit card bill was $890. Again, that's far more reasonable. Then, on July 1st, he was given a check for $1,400 for his NARO Summer Symposium in Chicago. And on the 25th of July, the education conference in San Francisco for $1,300, and the credit card for that month was $5,041. He was then given a check advance on August 15, 2024 for the Morrow Anniversary Conference in Biloxi, and then 2 weeks later, on the 30th of August, he went to the FADA Legislative Forum in D.C., where he was given a check to pay for his expenses of $2,604, and the credit card statement at the end of that month was $8,600. Then, on September 18th, he went to the NARO National Conference in Orlando, which was just under $1,000 given to him for his expenses, and the credit card bill was $8,500. On October 16th of 2024, he went to the Educators Retreat in Meridian for $631, and that month's credit card bill was $4,398. On November the 6th, he attended the Cirque Naru Fall Conference, perhaps in Montana. It is not clear. The abbreviation is just MON. It could be in Montgomery. I don't know. His check was $1,856, but the credit card bill was $5,374. On December 13th, he attended the Morrow Transition Meeting in Richland, Mississippi, which is in the Jackson area. And his check for that, for per diem and hotels, etc., was $724. And the credit card bill was $2,300 for that month. On December 30th, he went to the FADA Committee Conference for $4,382. Then the next conference he goes to is February 19th, 2025, to the Marrow Maintenance Conference in Biloxi for $500. But the February bills, two of them for the credit card, one for $9,800 and the other for $11,000. What did they buy? On March 6th, the Narrow Conference in D.C., he was given a check advance of $2,775, and the credit card bill that month was $10,800. 2 weeks later, he went to the Morrow Conference, and that was $3,254 check advance. And then on March 28th, the Mississippi Home Corporation Conference in Biloxi, he was given a cash advance of $1,217. And then, oh my, he stayed on the road the month of March. So every week, he appears to have gone to a conference. And on March 28th, he went to the FADA Web Conference in Miami, and the check advance was $2,481, and the credit card bill that month was $4,500. And then the most recent one I have is for May the 6th to the FADA Annual Conference in Seattle, of which we don't have the credit cards for yet. So in all, since October 13, 2023, Mr. Grathree has spent $52,000 on hotels and per diem and travel. And the credit card, over $100,000, has been placed on the company credit card for the Columbus Housing Authority. None of that is spent on housing. None of that is spent on the bills. All of their invoices and all of their work is paid for by checks. What is this credit card used for? $100,000 has been spent on the credit card that is in Mr. Grathree's possession since October 13th, 2023. Granted, some of this may be paying for multiple people to go to conferences. It is not clear because each month when the board meeting happens, there's no reconciliation of what he has spent the money on. It is just paid for, and they approve the minutes from the previous meeting, and they approve the budget and the spending items. No one ever collates. Nobody ever cross-checks. There's nothing done to see what this money has been spent on. I don't know about you, but $100,000 in credit card spending since October 23rd, 2023. In 19 months, they have spent over $100,000 on a credit card. Granted, they pay it off at the end of each month, but what have they done with $100,000 on a credit card that could have been used for the residents and for improving the lives of the people they're supposed to help? What have they done with that money that could have been used to improve the lives of the people that they are responsible for housing in Columbus, Mississippi? I don't know about you, but I have a lot of questions, and I'm going to keep digging. I've done another FOIA request. I hopefully will have the results of that within 2 weeks. I plan to dig further into this. At the moment, my questions are more directed toward those who are contracted, people who make contributions to the organization, who are also spending large amounts of our money. But I ask, is watching the money that's being spent on travel by Mr. Grathree? Let's look at this again. Most months, he goes at least once a month, often twice a month, to conferences around the country. In some months, he's gone every week to a conference. It seems exorbitant. That seems outrageous. I'd like to know how often he spends his time walking the facilities that he's responsible for as the executive director. I want to know how often he's out meeting the people who live in the facilities that he's responsible for. I want to know how many of the actual tenants of those units he actually has ever spoken to at all, much less know their name. Why is Mr. Grathree's time spent sporting around the country on our dollar, on our dime, spending exorbitant amount of money on these trips? If you have any information that might help me to parse this out, or if you would like to ask your own questions, I'm happy to explore your questions related to Mr. Grathree's travel, the expenses on the credit card, and lack of oversight by the board of this exorbitant amount of spending. I will make a spreadsheet and post all of these dollar figures. They should be public. I have the actual ledgers from the Housing Authority. Perhaps I should just post those ledgers for all to see. Then you can see where all the money's going. It's very questionable, and I plan to keep digging. There's far more to come. Until next time, I'm Shannon Evans, and this is the Tom Bigby Tales.